Spain talking to someone. We've learned about how to land a job abroad, how to shift there, what are the cultural shocks, and everything about getting a job and relocating to a foreign country. Today we're going to talk some more about how was his personal experience and whether it actually helped him grow as a person, grow as an individual, and I'm sure it did. So let's get started.
Talked about the process of moving abroad, of applying for a job there, and the whole cultural experience that you've had. What would you suggest somebody who's aspiring to move abroad, who's trying for a job abroad? Because I understand many people nowadays want to move abroad for a better life, for better education of the children, because education is mostly free there and it's more smooth over there. So most people that I know would rather work abroad than in India. So what would you suggest to them? What would your advice be?
So I would like to say that I have seen people getting jobs abroad on an analyst level and also on partner level. So first let me bust some of the myths. First myth that you cannot get a job as a fresher abroad. That's a myth, because I know somebody personally who got a job directly in Amazon Ireland after clearing their engineering. I know an Indian who joined as a partner in KPMG Ireland. So from India. So there is no
Age is not a barrier.
not even designation is not a barrier. So definitely it completely depends on the kind of experience that you have had, the kind of determination that you have because obviously nothing comes easy.
True.
Right, and you have to keep applying for jobs, and something I would like to advise is like work on the resume, that even if you do not have certain certifications or certain kind of experience, there are a lot of ways you can present your resume. Resume is something that catches the employer's initial screening process the attention, so it's very important that it leaves an impact. And also one more thing, I read somewhere that you should not put pictures on your resume. I do not know whether that's true or not, but my resume had pictures when I applied for all these jobs, and that did not stop the employers from getting in touch with me. I don't know, maybe some
you look good.
No, maybe some people who did not reach out to me for that reason, I do not know. But that did not come in the way. But I feel it does give a personal touch, right. Because it leaves an impression. Like I said, in the initial screening process, it does leave an impression. People may have different views.
Right,
there are a lot of interviewers who may not like it, but I like it. Because I also have served the role of an interviewer also in the past. Okay. So I don't mind. I would like to see how this person looks.
Who you're going to interview, yes.
It does give a personal touch. Then the second advice I would like to give is definitely make your application to jobs frequent. Like, you cannot be like, you apply 5 jobs today and then for next 1 month you don't apply anything. It is not going to work that way. Keep applying. So in LinkedIn, when you look for jobs, you keep once you apply all the relevant jobs, you keep refreshing it and see in the past 24 hours if there is any new job postings that have happened. Keep a tab on that. A lot of times it has also happened that people advise that in LinkedIn you make connections and you send a personal message to the recruiter.
Right.
Most of the times it doesn't work out. Because it doesn't matter whether you message them or not. There has to be an availability or an opening in that particular country, in that particular company.
Fit as well.
Right. So I would suggest is first you apply the job, then you go to the details of the job poster. Then you reach out to them that say that, I have applied for this particular position and can you,
yes, and don't just blindly apply. See whether the job description is something that you fit in or not.
That you fit in, because that way you are just wasting somebody's time.
Right.
Right. And so that is something that I would advise
and also, it's very important to make your resume in a way that it covers most of the
like I said in the beginning of the session, that try and mention everything that you have done in a resume. Don't leave any room for speculation or any kind of confusion, because you never know what kind of opportunities you may be missing out on.
So working on your resume is more important than reaching out to people and making connections.
Yes, because ultimately it's all about, are you somebody whom they need?
Right.
Ultimately it all boils down
to
that. So that is something that people need to understand, and also people need to understand that nothing here is personal.
Right.
It is a quid pro quo. It's like you have to present yourself in a way how you can be useful to them,
Right.
and then they will take care of you. It's a quid pro quo,
Of
and
course,
you know,
yes.
and that relationship continues as long as you satisfy each other in a way.
Right. So does LinkedIn Premium helps? I have heard a lot of people saying that you take the premium service and then you get noticed by the
No, I do not believe so, because I never had a LinkedIn Premium subscription. The people who have taken it, good for them, but I am not going to be propagating that because
as such it is not a necessity.
it's
If
not
you
a,
take it,
in
it's a
fact
choice.
in fact it is not at all a requirement in my opinion, because LinkedIn has no limitation in the number of jobs that you can apply per day or something.
Right.
So thankfully so far, so I don't think you need any premium version for that. As an employer, of course, I have limitations how many jobs I can post in LinkedIn.
Right.
But as an employee, as an applicant, you do not have any such limitations. So you do not have, because I never felt the need to have a LinkedIn premium version.
Right. So what suggestion you would also like to give people who are moving, making the move abroad? Like what are the challenges that they might face, or what is something that they should be prepared for? Because like you said, there are people who go there, they can't adjust, and then they move back. So it's a question of resilience as well.
Yes.
So what would your advice be to them?
Definitely surrounding yourself with Indians. I can't believe I'm saying this, but is actually a very good feeling. It makes you feel like home, because I'll be very honest, I live in a 3 BHK very luxurious flat, but had not been for my roommates, I would be completely lonely there.
Right.
Right. Nobody really cares except Indians over there that I've seen. If you have not, there have been times where I have worked from home for 10 days, 2 weeks in a stretch, and it's only my neighbors who ask me, "Are you well? Are you keeping well?" So that is something that definitely I started appreciating the culture from our country in that way, that they do care about at least whether you're alive or you're dead. So they're the first ones to call the police. So that is something that I felt I understood.
Stay connected with your
Yes, yeah. At least it worked out for me.
Right.
Because when I moved there, I thought, I'll get to meet people with different culture and different language. We'll be friends. Everybody's friendly,
Right.
but nobody's your friend.
Right.
And for better or for worse, all my close friends ended up being Indians. Because we have a lot of ways to relate to each other, similar problems.
Lot of things in common
yes, a lot of things common back home as well,
Right.
in terms of obligations, in terms of financial planning, in
Right,
terms of
right.
savings. A lot of those kind of discussions which people over in Europe cannot relate to.
Right.
Most of them are sort of financially very independent. They have things a lot of sorted out, and also they're kind of very closed knit community. They do not like to overshare the way we
Right.
Indians do, and so that is something that I found very comforting.
And they have social security, something that I've been jealous of.
Yes, they do, but what I found the sense of security was with Indians, because these are some of the very real facts I'm saying, because
Right.
I cannot be sitting here and I'm saying my life is great and I'm out of India, so everything is worked out for me. That's not true. Even if I got out of India, I ultimately still rely on the Indian people, the Indian culture, the food, which I have come to the realization that it cannot replace me. Those things cannot be replaced.
I had a friend who took a pressure cooker for the 2 months that she went to.
Yes, so you understand what I'm saying, and so that was one of the main reasons I never felt homesick.
Okay.
Because feeling homesick is a real thing. It can happen to someone in 15 and at 50. So you
it gives a sense of community to have
a sense of community for sure, and sometimes talking is very underrated. So sometimes when somebody comes and has just like 2 words, like you are just standing at your door and somebody is talking to you. In India, you see it all the time and you take it for granted. But over there, it's a big deal if somebody has even 5 minutes to spare for you. So that is something that you can expect out of an Indian. Sorry to say.
Yes.
But that
it gets very quiet and
about
very
quite
lonely
and
otherwise.
again, all the things that I'm sharing right now is completely on my experience alone.
Right.
This is my personal opinion. I do not speak for anybody else. But definitely that was something that helped me cope up in the initial days. Yeah.
So in this past year, have you changed or have you undergone any kind of change as a person, as an individual? What has been your personal journey?
So I don't think so. I have changed so much because
Even I don't think you've changed.
because I have a good set of friends who always keep me real, who always keep me grounded. I'm very much connected with my parents, my friends back in India. So definitely, I haven't stayed here long enough to undergo any fundamental change in terms of my mindset or in terms of my perspective. I still look at things the way I looked when I was in India, and I think so. I'll be that way because somewhere I just feel the perspective or the mindset that we have formed staying in a country like India works out most of the times for Indians.
But has it so happened that you started appreciating the little things that we often take for granted?
Yes, like I said, like, you know, somebody having a minute for you, somebody, and I'll be honest enough, I cannot be called as a social person. I do not socialize that easily. I only talk to people whom I really like, and I'm kind
Stick
of
to your own circle.
Circle. But once you go abroad, that does change. A lot of times, I think that, you know, I wouldn't talk to this person if it was, but once you go there, you crave for that familiarity so much that, you know, wherever you find it,
A chance to speak,
you
talk.
search for home over there. So that is something that I have understood, and I have also seen that generally, I do not know about other people, but the Indians that I met were in Ireland. They're very welcoming, very warm, and they're very helpful in terms when you move to a new country. You know, what all documents you need, what all documents you need while applying for the work visa. So all these things, I have gotten help from complete strangers who were Indians, who are based
that
there.
happens. I've seen in Canada, in US also, there's a good Indian community that helps
yes, so
you
that
out.
Helps you out.
Finding
So
a
you
house
cannot,
also
so you
sometimes.
can, yeah, that also happened. So you cannot completely dismiss that particular contribution of the Indian community. That, you know, at some point, which I also realized, and I think most Indians should realize, never forget your roots.
Right.
You are what you are,
Yes.
and you, the more you struggle to fit in, the more you try to fit in,
Or
the
try
more
to run away from your own
for
identity.
identity is just kind of very unbecoming. It's like, you know, you will not get the respect of others anyway.
And not only that, you are in this constant purgatory where you're struggling to find your identity.
Yes. So it is because I would say India today is a country which is well known, well recognized throughout the world, and nobody can
And
ignore
respected.
And you know, so you should feel proud. Most of us do, but I'm just talking about the people who do not secretly. But that, you know, there's
it is. You have to understand that it is okay to be, to want to shift abroad, to get a job abroad, to go there for a better life, and at the same time be proud of your own country. That is something that you have to accept. Yes, you are an Indian, be proud of it, and then you go abroad.
Everybody has their own personal journey,
yes.
And nobody's personal
but
journey.
If you try to change your identity, if you try to disconnect from your roots, then it becomes a problem for yourself.
But it's just problematic, and most of the times you will not be liked, because I have seen people from different countries and how proud they are about their country's culture and heritage, and I genuinely feel attracted to have a conversation with that kind of person rather than somebody who's just not into it and try to be one amongst the
fitting among
so that is something that's very just unattractive is the word. so that is what that's again just my own personal opinion.
Right. So any final words of wisdom?
Well, I don't think I qualify to give words of wisdom, but I would definitely tell everybody who's watching this is that there is no limitation when it comes to applying jobs, and there's no criteria that you need to have an education, you need to have you need to do these certifications. All those things are great if you can do it, but the people who cannot do it for whatever reason, financial reason, or they do not have time for that kind of commitment, they have family issues, the doors are not closed for them as well. Right. If you are performing well in your current job, I think, and I would suggest them to definitely try and get internal promotions. Internal promotions definitely is going to help, and that's the only proof or evidence for the future employer to know that you're good at your job. So that is something that is very underrated, and I think it shouldn't. Once you start growing internally when you move to a new company.
It
Not
can't
just
be that you're not working here well because you're thinking I'm applying for a job abroad anyway, I'm going to go.
And
so why should I do good?
Right,
here?
and also it is not only about jobs abroad, even jobs in India. Right. It definitely is going to give you an upper hand when you apply for a next job.
It's good for your career.
For your career, because I would be very honest. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, that's my only achievement professionally were the internal promotions, which landed me the job that I did.
Right.
So that is something that I would like people to understand. Apart from that, we already spoken about the resume part. The third thing is that definitely people should try for English-speaking countries, which is like UK, Ireland, Australia, US, obviously. So that it becomes easier because
countries like France and Germany, you tend to struggle.
Yes, because most of the times they do have some requirement of knowing written and spoken French or Dutch or German language.
I had a friend who was working in Paris and then she decided to come back to India, and I was like, you have a very good job. She worked in a university, so it was very convenient and very easy and very smooth. And so what was the problem like? So she was like, they would not speak in English, they want me to speak in French. I won't speak in French because I'll speak only in English. So that's the problem. I can't change, they can't change. There's no point going to and fro.
Though I would advise, if anybody wants to pursue a career or a life in that kind of country, you have to respect that country's language.
Right.
And if you cannot, if you think it's already too much, then rather my first advice would be apply for the English-speaking countries. Yes. That would definitely give you an edge, because there's something also I would like to highlight here, that the companies abroad focus a lot on documentation. Okay. And us Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, we are, I don't care where you got your degree from, but all our mark sheets are intact, all our degree certificates are intact, so it becomes very easy for them to, I've seen a lot of, so this friend of mine in Ireland who was from the talent acquisition team, she always complained when they hired people from abroad, like in Ireland or UK, sometimes some certificate will be missing, some mark sheet will be missing, and MNCs have this audits, they cannot onboard somebody without having proper documentation.
We have our certificates laminated and kept in a folder very nice.
So the moment, for the talent acquisition team, the moment it's Indian, oh great, at least the documentation is not going to be a problem.
Yes. So, I think for countries like Canada, they have a WEA certification also, where they check all your documents and they certify that everything is intact. So once you get that certification, any company that you apply and just sees that whether it's
so that kind of universal thing hasn't happened in Europe.
Yes.
Because here they were checking my documents individually. But yeah, that is something.
Any which way, as Indians, you have an edge because you have.
Yeah, they do, and also Indians are perceived as smarter over there. I have seen
and
hardworking. But again, I would advise everybody to, when they move there, if they do, to continue that perception, because a lot of times you may have to understand that you're representing your country in a different country, so do not engage in any kind of illegal activities. Do not be part of something unpleasant. It just gives a bad impression of your country in front of others.
Because when you're outside, you're not just an individual, you also
represent your country. Right. So that is something that I would like to advise everybody. But again, it is not rocket science. Okay, you just go, keep applying for jobs, and it's not going to be an easy process. For some people it could be, but for some people it may not be. But do not give up is something that sounds very basic, but that is something that worked out for me, that I did not give up. I kept applying for interviews after getting rejected. Yes. So the applications directly got rejected by a mail, that was fine. But the interviews after taking 1 or 2 rounds when they rejected me, that also was kind of demotivating. But I just, I was sad for a minute, picked myself up, then applied for the next job.
Keep swimming.
Yeah. So that.
We'll get there. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, Sambhav. I hope you got a lot of insights from him, which we can use, and people who are trying to get abroad. If you want any more information, leave a comment and we'll get back to you.
Come to the end of the podcast. It is 3 episodes, so if you've not watched the previous 2 episodes, please do watch them and let us know how it was, because this is our first podcast and your feedback is really important to us. If you like this format, we're going to interview a lot of people in the upcoming episodes, and we're going to talk about a lot of other things which will help you earn, save and invest money. If you've not subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. Hit the like button and share this video to your friends and family. you don't know who it can help land a job, or somebody might be in need of that little bit of adjustment, a little bit of encouragement that this video might provide. Because after all, at the end of the day, we're all survivors. Thank you. Stay tuned.